next segment of Teacher's Corner, leveling up the Agents of Yesterday tune. We are doing the Welcome to Earth Space Dock tutorial. I need to find and talk to Lieutenant Laurel. So I'm looking for the yellow marker on my map. It tells me Lieutenant Laurel is somewhere this way. Alright, so we're heading down. I do believe Lieutenant Laurel is the ship vendor. Yep, looks like it. Alright, so I'm going to choose a ship. Starship and shuttle requisitions. There she is. And tells me congratulations on my promotion. I'm going to get a new starship. Alright, browse selection. And okay. So I already have the Constitution cruiser. Okay, I can choose the light cruiser, or I can choose the light escort, which is available for Zen. Alright, I have the Constitution cruiser, or I can choose the light science vessel, which is simply available, the cruiser, which costs 1 token, and escort, another science vessel available, or science vessel refit, which again is available, cruiser refit available, or so I have all of these. The escort refit is also available, heavy cruiser, light heavy escort, let's see, for some dilithium, the science research vessel, which is of course, let's see, advanced research vessel, 1000 Zen. These are all the ones available to me. Want to make sure I'm only looking at the ones, there we go, available for my rank. And so this limits it quite a lot. Alright, and I should be able to find, there we go, temporal science vessel. This is the one that I purchased from the pack, and this is the one I would like to use. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. So I'm going to choose buy ship. Remember to click on the free button so that you actually purchase it. Alrighty. And this does leave me a ship token available to use for the things. You also notice I can come back and claim all of these ships later for my Admiralty once I unlock it. So I'm not going to go ahead and claim any ships now, any extra ships now. I'm going to save that token and decide which ship I'm going to get for Admiralty purposes later on. Alright, so I now have a dataless class ship, and if I come over here to the ship selector, I can see, or I should see, oh, there it is, now that I have unpacked it. Okay, Bonanza. Gotta love these temporary names. Alright, so I now have the USS Bonanza. I'm going to go ahead, all of these are 0 EC, so I'm going to go ahead and discard all of the weapons that come with it, because I'm going to be putting on my own weapons and ship gear that I want, and I will need that secondary deflector back. because I do not have one of my own. There we go. Try that again. Okay. Okay, there we go. We'll go ahead and leave the secondary deflector. I don't have any better one. Okay. And we have the special console destabilization probe. Probably going to leave it since I really don't have any other consoles to put there. Okay. And it looks like it's quite interesting for a science heavy tune. We'll have to see. Alright, I should be able at this point, yes, to open the plasmonic lead. That will go on my ship here. Go ahead and I'll put it in my science console. There we go. And as far as this ship goes, I'm now going to strip this ship. Okay. Okay, so we've stripped this ship down. Now, because I am Lieutenant Commander at this point, I am capable of using Mark IV gear. So first thing I'm going to do, I have gone to my other tunes and I've crafted, as you can see, a number of upgrades. Okay, so I'm now going to go ahead and upgrade the gear that I have. I do have a number of... I'm not going to use the Temporal Vanguard upgrade because you'll notice while there is no dilithium cost, there's also no quality improvement chance. So I want to save those for once I have an item to epic. Okay? Because that way I don't have to worry about the quality improvement chance. Okay? So I do want, because I'm upgrading a beam, I want to try and get it up as fast as I can. So I'm going to use Superior Experimental Tech Upgrade because this has 2 times the quality improvement chance. Okay. I don't have any accelerators. I'm not even going to worry about that. Okay. Alright. So, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and, before I do anything else, make sure I find any of that. I do have some dilithium. A bunch of dilithium that I've put on the exchange. So I'm going to go ahead and claim all of that. Withdraw. So that I can upgrade without having to worry about my dilithium. I have ground this out for quite a while. As you can see, it is a substantial amount. Alright, so I'm going to begin my upgrade. I'm going to upgrade the item. And I'm going to upgrade all the way to Mark IV. And I'm going to claim. Alright, so you can see now I have Mark IV. It's crit D2 over. It did not go up in rarity. That's okay. Now I'm going to do the same to another. And here we go. And claim. Alright, that is absolutely perfect. You'll notice I got the crit D3 over. That is exactly what I want to happen when upgrading this weapon, because that over is a guaranteed critical hit, so I want that to hit as hard as possible. This weapon is definitely a keeper. And claim item. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to use the experimental and apply upgrade. And claim. And again, I'm upgrading only to Mark IV. Claim item. Alright, now I'm going to upgrade, of course, all of the other ship components that I have here. Alright. And I'll be upgrading all of these to Mark IV. Alright, accuracy crit D2 over. Not the best. Okay, be moving that to down. Alright, this is why I have more than enough so I can continue to make an attempt. So if I get a mod that I don't want, I can keep trying. Alright, I'm not going to take it up to Mark 5 because then I won't be able to use it. Okay, and I'm taking every weapon I can up to Mark 4. And this gives me the best chance with my weapon. And this is my last superior. That's okay. Okay, crit D2 damage over. Not a bad, not terrible. If you're not going to get crit D3, on this weapon, damage would be the next best mod. I am going to separate that. There we go. And we're going to do the last two. And now we're going to go. Accuracy again. Alright. That is all the weapons. And now, of course, time to upgrade the rest of the gear. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here. We'll come back after I upgrade everything else. As you can see, if you look in my inventory over here, I have upgraded all the items. We didn't need to go through that, so I am now going to go ahead and put them on my ship, I want to make sure that my crit D3 over beam makes it on. So there we go. That's going to be my first one. And then I'm going to put on my other beams. I'm really not paying attention to which ones I put on because I'm not too concerned with it. There we go. Alright. And now I'm going to put my gear on. And you can see I'm about to ready my Starship. There we go. So this is now my active Starship. And I'm going to put all my gear on. Deflect. And this is, of course, all of my gear. You can see now I have 2 tactical consoles available to me. There we go. And then for EPS, I am putting back my EPS flow regulator. Alright, so now I have my ship outfitted. I did leave the secondary deflector that came with it. I'm not too worried about that. It is going to possibly give me a little something extra. Doesn't hurt to have it. Alright, and you can see I've left in the console that came with it, mainly because I don't have anything better to put there right now. I did open my plasmonic leech that I purchased, and I put that on this character. That's going to help me. Okay, I made sure my crit D3 over beam that I upgraded was placed on the vessel, and I had to rename it with no apostrophe in order to get it to take it. I don't want to dismiss my other ship because that will give me a ship that I can have for Admiralty. Okay, so because I want to have it available for Admiralty, I'm not dismissing the ship just yet. I will keep it for a while. Alright, so this is my active Starship now, and oh, I got some mail. You'll notice I did put on the exchange because they did not turn out the way that I had wanted them. I did put the failed, or what I consider to be failed, upgrades on the exchange for a little more than what the current crit D2 overbeams are going for. Okay, so I did do that, and as you can see, 2 of them have sold. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those, and there we go. And I did buy 2 other crit D2 overs at Mark II and upgrade those. They stayed at very rare. So that is our current status. I'm now going to head over on Earth Space Dock to, there is a bartender, but I'm going to head over to the weapons vendor. Where is it? There it is, personal equipment. This vendor does give the 50% just like the bartenders do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and sell. And I'm going to get rid of the gear that I did not upgrade and don't want to keep. So that's my duranium alloy, my shield emitter, and there we go. That is gone. Alright, you will notice I've also gotten, right after my my sponsorship tokens, I now have a temporal transponder. This is how I'm going to communicate as a temporal agent with my thing. This will show me the rewards and what I have reached. Okay, So, first thing, complete missions to rank up your captain. I have reached level 10. You'll notice it is glowing. I can now claim this. So I'm going to click on claim, and it's going to give me a temporal agent equipment choice package at lieutenant. So this item grants me a choice of receiving one of the following: either space weapons booster pack, space equipment booster pack, space consoles booster pack, or ground equipment booster pack. The equipment would be deflectors, shields, and warp core and and engines. The impulse engines. The consoles would be, of course, engineering, science, and tactical consoles, and the ground equipment would be the armor and other items. Okay, all items from the above packs are purple / very rare quality and are of the highest mark available or usable by lieutenants. So they will come out as Mark 4 regardless of when you open them. So I'm going to click on claim. So I have now claimed that. You'll notice it is now stopped flashing, and so I double click. I'm going to go ahead and choose ground gear because I don't remember whether or not there is a kit in this. If there is, there is. There's a kit and 2 kit modules. Okay, so this way I don't have to buy a kit. That is nice. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and equip this kit. I'm going to take that kit off, and I'm going to go ahead and equip the kit that I just got. Alright, and this leaves me with, I like plasma grenade, so I'm going to put that in, and battle strategies. Battle strategies, not a bad buff, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Okay, so these are 2 fairly good skills for tax. They're not terrible. You could, of course, buy different modules off the exchange if you chose to. Just make sure they are at Mark 4. The caveat, remember, kits and kit modules cannot be upgraded. So my strategy here is, since I know a kit and some kit modules come with the ground packs, I'm probably going to choose the ground packs every time and just use whatever comes with it until I get to where I can get Mark 12, and then I'll buy a appropriate kit and the modules that I wish off the exchange. Okay, this is a fairly decent strategy, and I can still sell these other items that I do not need to the vendor. So I'm going to, and see, I can now get rid of these, and they're actually worth nothing, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. Alright, I have gone through and promoted each of my officers. So you'll notice they are now lieutenant. They can take advantage of their lieutenant level skills now. Okay, on the ground and in space. Since I now have a new ship. Alright, so I have here science. So I'm going to have to choose. I'm probably going to put, actually I'm going to put hazard emitters here. I'm going to put a tactical officer here so that I can now have 2 copies of Fire at Will, and I'm going to put a tactical team on this officer. Okay, and that will get me started, and then I'm going to leave, of course, emergency power to weapons 1. I am going to change up my engineering officer on my away team. He's going to have, I'm going to put a different skill here for his lieutenant. I'm going to look for a turret or a quantum mortar. Okay, and you may remember I got the training manuals for the 23rd century, which I may try to use. Alright, so I want to go to the bridge officer trainer and get those started. And actually, let me put my stations. I will put Augustin, and I'll put Tarsi. Okay, and only one engineering and only one science. Okay, so now I need to go get the appropriate bridge officer training manual. This is the tedious work of getting a ship ready, but things you need to think about. Okay, as you're leveling up. So I know that I want to have my beam buffs up as often as possible. So I want to have, here we go. So I'm going to have, for now, fire at will. 1 is already on there, so I want fire at will 2. Where is it? Oh my goodness. Would help if I were looking at the right level skills. Here we go. There it is. Beam fire at will 2. Okay, so I get one of those. And I also want to get tactical team 1. I don't need my engineering because I already have that, but I do need science because I need hazard emitter for the green level. There we go. Alright. I now have the appropriate bridge officer skill. Double check my stations. So Augustin is getting the fire at will 2. There it is. That is now his default. And Tarsi will be getting tactical team 1. She will learn that. That is now her default. And Temet, not to be confused with Tiket, will now be getting hazard emitters 2. Alright, so let's make sure these are appropriately seated. There we go. Tactical team and hazard emitter. Alright, and we do need to look for an appropriate engineering ground ability for Mr. Scavron. Engineering. Alright, so you'll notice engineering ground, the only offensive one is Chronoton Mindberry. This is why we wanted to get the photonic grenade launcher. So now, as I look through, we have quick fix. Okay, we do have There we go. Turret fabrication. So I'm going to get turret fabrication and put that on him for his ground skill for lieutenant. Ruh-roh. Seems to be bugged out, so it looks like we'll have to leave it as is for the moment. I do have turret fabrication. Oh, that's why. Okay. So I don't have enough expertise to go ahead and learn that just yet. As soon as I do, I will go ahead and train that. Alrighty. And looks like my final item sold on the exchange. Okay. And finally, because I am now level 10, I do have another space point and ground point to spend. So I'm going to go ahead and spend in improved shield restoration, because I do want my shields to come back. And ground, I want, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and go with weapon expert. There we go. Alright. And for the ground, let's choose, I want to do this. And choosing willpower. Okay. So we're now ready to head up and get obviously my skill tray ready before we move on to the mission. This is all the fun stuff you have to do. Not always fun when you're prepping a ship. And we'll go over little things to remember. First thing to remember, make sure you adjust those power levels. You'll remember if you've seen my power level video, we want to put it on lock down here, keep our weapons at 100, put auxiliary to maximum, save, and there we go. Alright, and as you can see, little bonuses are starting to take effect. And I'm going to close that. Alright, and now the other thing you want to make sure is that all of your weapons are on auto fire. Alright, so we do have sensor analysis. That is a great little debuff. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually move some things around. When I have it, if I don't have any pets, I do like to put sensor analysis on it. So I'm going to do some personal preference things here as far as where certain things are going. Alright, and we have some new things with the temporal ship for the configurations. Launch. Okay. And you'll remember I do have my macro here, so I'm going to put in my beam fire at wills and my tactical team last, and then put that there. Okay. Alrighty. Now we do have some new things here that come with our temporal ship. One is the destabilization probe. So this is a nice little debuff, it looks like. And yep, a debuff to the enemies as well as some damage for you. So we'll go ahead and put that so we can test it out. We also have different configurations, okay, for your ship. So we have offensive configuration, gives us some extra turn rate, extra engine power, etc., etc. We have support configuration, gives some extra auxiliary power, a boost to exotic damage, and a boost to control expertise. Then we have defensive, which gives us some extra shield power and incoming hull healing. And then we also have the molecular deconstruction beam, which gives a nice little physical damage buff, physical damage, and a healing buff, or a healing for 5 seconds, and disables our foe for 3 seconds. So I'm actually going to scoot these down, and we'll put this here. Okay. And boom. Alright, so we can test those out as we level up and see how those go. Alright, we are now ready to go ahead and play the next mission.